Hey guys, welcome back to Astral Diaries. Let's wing another video, mainly about this little book. I already did a video about this book when it comes to astral projection, as this channel is dedicated to astral projection OBEs. I already did a video, I'll put it in the description. But this little book, guys, look at this. So, I swear I thought this is pronounced Celtic Magic, like the Boston Celtics, but I guess it's pronounced Celtic Magic. I'm not sure how to say it. I've seen a couple of videos on reviews on it already. So this video is more lined up with like rituals, magic, manifestation. And this little book, guys, when I saw it, I don't know what I was looking for. I was looking for something. But when I saw this little cover, man, I'm like, oh my God, I remember this book. I used to kind of like stare at this book because, guys, as a teenager in the 90s, no internet, you would go, like, at least I did. I went to like bookstores and stuff like that. And I really loved the New Age section. And I remember some of the covers. This book, the cover just really stood for me. And to the degree that I feel like I might have even had this book and read it. It looks so familiar, but as I'm reading it, I'm only like 10 pages in, and I'll tell you guys why. I wanted to do this video without even reading a word of it. But, I got this like a week ago, so, I already read it a little bit. I don't think I've read the book, but and I'll tell you guys why I picked this book. Long story short, when I was in my grandma's house, when I used to live there, where the whole astral projection OB started, another part of what I studied was a lot of New Age, anything around magic, witchcraft, rituals, and stuff like that, spells, chants, you name it. I've read so many books, and most of them were just mumbo jumbo garbage. I tried the books the best I could at the time as a teenager, followed instructions, not a lot of life experience. As a teenager, what are you, like high school, junior high, elementary, kindergarten? That's pretty much your life history, not enough. So I was doing my best, which is why I'm revisiting this stuff, guys, because I'm really looking at this stuff differently now. As far as this little book goes, so after trying a bunch of mumbo jumbo, this stuff like that, I really believed and wanted to believe in that stuff. And of course, when I read Cooper's work, here's an author that gave you a solid foundation on basically what a ritual magic is and how it works, basically. If the way I look at Cooper's teaching, guys, is if there is such a thing as rituals, manifestation through rituals, magic, and stuff like that, he basically lays it down for you guys as scientific as possible. And when I read his books, it just totally, and in some ways he actually exposes other books. And I'm going to get into this book here in a minute. I'm not talking about this book. And so what I can say, guys, for me, when it comes to rituals and stuff like that, my base is Cooper. Like when I came across this book, he's really known for the Magician. I've already made videos. I have a whole playlist about Cooper's works by now. I have a link for this book if you guys want to get it, the second edition. And then this book. And then this is the last one I got by him. So I would say my base when it comes to ritual magic manifestation through ritual magic, because at core of it, that's what it is. Because I've already made videos. He really explains it very well. He, with the subconscious mind, the inner power, the 4 elements. You can take it as far as like planetary energies, colors, astrology. His books explains those very well. So I would say this is my base. And the other thing I want to say, guys, before I forget is, because I saw a video by this girl about one of Cooper's books. I think it was like the latest version of his candle magic. And she was kind of like saying all this, how, she really didn't like his writing style based on blah, blah, blah. And I get it. Cooper, he's very straightforward with the method that he teaches you. And his method, guys, unlike hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, say a couple of things, wish something's happened. He teaches you a system that you work over weeks and months, guy. You literally perfect this ritual. And it's a ritual that you can use for anything. You can modify it, tweak it. The book teaches you all that stuff. It's a system. It's not just hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, say this and wish for something, turn on 2 candles, see them get closer to each other. You know, like if you're doing some type of love magic, love spell or something, like Raymond Buckland. By the way, I read some of his books too. So he teaches his system, and a little bit of warning for anybody who wants to look into Cooper's work. If you already have a little system, you're evoking spirits and demons and you're mixing herbs and that's what you want to believe, that's what you believe, and you have some success, you know what? Stay away, because Cooper will kind of, in some ways, will take all that away from you, the way his systems is. So just a warning, if you're kind of like lost, you tried a bunch of things and nothing's working, you're like, you know what, let's try something that makes sense, then by all means look into Cooper. This book, second edition, will be in the description, as well as any other books that I think of. So definitely look into his work. But again, back to this book, guys. For me, after saying everything that I just said, at that age, I'll be honest with you guys, the whole hocus pocus, spells and say this and goddess, all that stuff was fun. Like, I feel like now I'm at a point where, as I revisit Cooper's work, I don't want to repeat myself, guys. I've actually had success with his work. I've tried it multiple. I just tried it recently on something. But the thing that Cooper's work does take away, the little magic touch of hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, or whatever you want to call it, I kind of miss that. And the reason I'm picking up books like this is because I'm going to read this as a novel, a story, and with the goal of kind of getting into that magical mindset, like a kid, like a teenager, and in the process, picking things that I can add to my foundation, which is basically Cooper's teaching. So I'll give you guys an example. I was already like 2 pages or 7 pages into this book, and there was mentions of goddess, gnomes, and what else? Goddess, gnomes. Man, it's already having that effects on me. And then, to my surprise, I know nothing about this author. I just kind of looked her up, To my surprise, by page 10, she's talking about like the subconscious mind, the right side of the brain, the left side of the brain, and in a different way, and a different angle, because Cooper's work is a lot around the subconscious mind and the power within. But already, guys, and 10 pages in, she touches on similar thing, and it's kind of refreshing. And I think I'm already going to be getting what I was looking for from this book. Some little magical touch, and the book also touches about like the elements, which Cooper is big on. So I'm really looking forward to what I can gain from this little book. It's really inexpensive. You can get it for just a couple dollars. If I can find a link, I'll put it for you guys. And that's it. I'm reading this book just to kind of get that little magical touch, and anything that I can take and add it to my base, which is basically Cooper's teaching. I don't think no one at this stage, guys, I've read all of these Cooper's books. No, I don't think no other book author is going to take that away from me, because I'm so deep into it. I've mastered his rituals that are taught, and those 3 books, actually all of them, I've mastered as a teenager. I've been polishing it for the last couple of months. I've already used it once, and I got plans on using some other things. But for me personally, when my journey, this book, there's some other books that I'm going to get. I think it's called True Magic by like Amber or something. I know nothing about her. I love the cover of that book too. Modern Magic, 12 Lessons in Magic or something like that. Beautiful cover. I'm looking forward to reading that too. And then another one by, I think, Silver Raven or something, To Ride a Silver Broomstick. I'm probably butchering her name. I used to have her book, and I just kind of sold it on eBay. I'm willing to repurchase that, all in efforts of kind of bringing those kind of magical, mystical things back to myself, knowing that my base core is Cooper's work. And I can see if I can kind of bring things and add it, anything little magical, mystical thing on top of Cooper teaching, knowing, I know it might sound kind of confusing, guys. Like, this is my base, but I kind of missed that part of it. So that's why I'm reading these books, more like a novel, like story. I've never liked reading stories. And the only stories I've read was when it was basically forced onto me during school and college. So I'm going to read more books like this and kind of see what I can gain from them, and then kind of mix it to what I already know on Cooper's teaching. As far as Cooper, he has a lot more books. I'm not looking forward to reading more of his books because a lot of these books are like, in some ways, at least these books. I know he has more books. It's his teachings are very similar, but you know, some parts of it, maybe some book has something that the other doesn't have, obviously. So I'm not thinking about doing anything else, but I'm willing to read more books like this to kind of add to that and kind of give it that little magical touch. Maybe, especially when it comes to elements, I'll give you guys an example. So I already believe in the power of the elements. I've said it before. Air, we breathe it. Fire, look outside, you know, sun. Water, we're made out of water, you know, oceans, rivers, and then earth, you know, we walk on it. Even, you know, earth could be flat too, you know, that I know there's a lot of talk around flat earth nowadays. So, you know, we walk on earth. But this book touches on the elements too. And I want to learn a little bit more about the elements from like a different author's angle and kind of see if I can kind of learn more about it. You know, just kind of get a different twist on it is what I'm trying to say. So not a full review of this book. Maybe after I finish this book, I might do another like a review of it. But already worth it for me. Like I said, I'm only like 10 pages in, and I feel like I'm gonna get what I'm looking for out of a little book like this. And look at that artwork too, it's like beautiful. So that's it, guys. In a nutshell, getting back to Cooper's work, my base, but I'm willing to read little books like this to just kind of give it a little touch, gain whatever I can gain out of this book, and then kind of add it to what Cooper's teaching, and then kind of like have a nice little blend, kind of like what I did with OBs, guys. So Buhlman was my go-to book, but I added some Raduge, you know, and I kind of mixed their techniques, and I was using it for the longest time. And I just did a video for you guys where kind of like techniques weren't working, you know, and then, which is why I'm reading this book, kind of like give myself a different angle. So that's kind of where I'm at. At core of it, guys, I decided this year, not so much resolution, was, you know, we have screens in our faces, we have phones. If you lived through the 90s, early 2000s, there was a time that, you know, people actually read. So I'm kind of getting back to reading. That's kind of like the core of it. I'm trying to get back to, you know, just kind of take a break from screens and just get back to reading. And that's kind of the result of what I'm doing right now. So see you guys on the next one. Hopefully I'll have some type of astral projection experience to share with you guys, or maybe another book. See you guys on the next one.